Hello, everyone. I hope that you all are doing well and having a great start to your November and that you had wonderful Halloweens. Um, Plural Halloweens, I guess, but speaking to multiple people. So we're going to go with it. Um, I apologize that last week I was unable to get on to a live stream. Again, I had my daughter's surgery and everything went well. She's definitely healing up very nicely. A lot better than adults, I would say. She was almost full capacity the next day, which is absolutely wonderful. Meanwhile, I'm the one that is like cringing um, when I see her running around and doing certain movements, but it's her body and like she knows what she can handle. So I'm just going to look really quick to make sure that I am live and things are working technology wise. Hmm. Let me look. All right. Well, I am very hopeful that things are working. Um, Not quite sure. Technology has been a little bit of a crazy town. It says I am live. If someone would be game for any comment if you're watching, just to see if things are working, that would be awesome. It looks like there are just issues all around. All right. Well, we're going to go with it. And if I need to post this, I will. All right. So here we go. I am excited to chat about the Crockpot. And, it's that time of year now where the weather is cooling down. It is feeling that chill in the air. We're wanting that coziness. And, the schedules seem to get busier and busier. It just seems to be a little bit more chaotic and hectic at this time. I feel like there's something every part of the year that is just like all year long is just crazy pants, right? But I feel like, especially holiday time, things can get a little bit more nuts. And so, what we want to try to do, especially if you're suffering with fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue, what we really want to do is cut down on the stressors in your life and to, cut down on anything that could potentially cause a flare for you. And that could be all the food preps and, being in the kitchen nonstop or trying to get meals ready when you're already having the hectic lifestyle of the holidays and you're already stressed about things, and maybe weather is also influencing your pain tolerance or your energy levels. We're having that lack of sunlight now, so that's really going to like hone in on fatigue. We're not going to get enough as much vitamin D, which our body needs. So there are so many things during this time that really can influence a flare up for those struggling with fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, autoimmune conditions, all of that. So this is where the Crockpot can really step in, be your best friend during this time, bring you those cozy, warm comfort foods, but also provide you with the nutrition that you and your family need too. Those quick summer salads that were easy to just throw together with some like lettuce, some quality protein, your dressing, maybe some like other vegetables like cucumbers or peppers, onions, all that stuff to just throw together. It's just not cutting it. It's not what our body is really craving or wanting. And those aren't necessarily in season right now anyway. So usually this time what we are craving is in season, and made to really warm up our bodies, and provide us with the nutrients that we need during this time. So really supporting our immune health and all of that. And those warm foods can be created within the crock pot. So, you know, this is where that lovely kitchen appliance can come in. We can really utilize it over these cold fall and winter months, and even into spring. It can, help meet your needs with minimal effort. So for those who are not sure on what a crock pot exactly is, it is a type of slow cooker that is designed for busy home cooks, for, just really helping support busy lifestyles and having that minimal effort and stress in your life. And we want to cut down on stress. And I apologize. I keep looking to see if this is working. And all right, things are showing, but it's weird. Must be a new way of doing things. Not sure. But if anyone is out there, please, I would love to have you interact with this, and this topic. And I would love to hear what are some of your favorite crock pot meals to prepare. Do you use one at home? Do you feel like you want to use one more so? And I'm going to get to more of the details and ideas later on too. So, you know, the crock pot really allows for you to set it and forget it as it slowly simmers your food over several hours. So this is really helpful for those busy weeknights, or when you want to come home to a hot, home cooked meal without having to put in a whole bunch of work, or, getting home and you're like, now I need to chop all these vegetables. I need to prepare the meat. I need to make sure everything is good, and I have to get it all ready at a certain time so that our family can sit down for a meal and then get to bed at a decent time. Or, you're trying to fit it in with all these different activities that might be going on too, especially during the holidays. Activities just ramp up. But it allows for that home cooked, delicious, nutritious meal. And you can just get home, enjoy it, and have an easy clean too. So the slow cooker has been around for about 75 years, and it's developed. Slow cooker has developed over time into one that is even more user friendly for a busy household. There's a lot more technology wise that's gone into it and makes it even easier for people. And how they work is they really work by slowly heating food at a low temperature. And this allows the flavors to develop and melt together over time, resulting in a tastier final product. And if you are cooking animal proteins, they are often more tender as the food is cooked slowly over an extended period of time. It allows the fibers to really break down in that protein and then just kind of melt in your mouth. And the crock pot settings can vary, but typically there's a higher heat setting, which can, cook dishes in as little as 4 hours, and then a lower heat setting, which is ideal for even overnight, or, daytime cooking, or, starting in the morning so that it simmers throughout the day. And then when you get home, you can have a delicious meal for your family. And you don't have to worry about what are you going to have for dinner and what do you have to prepare. Unless, of course, you're preparing maybe some other things to go along with it, but that just, all the stress is just greatly reduced. So let's go over some benefits, because really there are a lot of benefits that, isn't really thought about or given as much credit as it deserves. And so obviously there's that set it and forget it convenience. So you add your ingredients to the pot, set the timer, and then you're done. You let it begin, and you go to work, go do what you need to do, maybe uh, get some projects done around the house, or have some time for yourself. Whatever it is, you don't have to worry about that meal. The crock pot's doing the work for you. So There is no need to check on it or stir like you would if you were cooking over a stovetop or even in the oven. Meals can be more affordable this way too. So you can end up cooking cheaper cuts of meat, still wanting to get, quality meat. So if you can, but you can get, the cheaper cuts of that quality meat. Um, and those usually require longer cooking times in general, anyways, to break down the tough fibers of those meats. So you can have the more affordable meats, and that slow cooker is going to break down those fibers and make it a lot more tender and just melt in the mouth and make it easier for your body to digest, absorb the nutrients from, and it's more enjoyable. Beans and other budget friendly ingredients can also easily be cooked too. And, the affordability also comes with you can meal prep using a crock pot. You can create large meals in bulk for your family that then you can, put in the freezer or keep it in the refrigerator and then have it over several days. So it allows you to save money in the end because, you're making one meal. You're saving your energy as well, but then it's not like trying to buy all these different ingredients, the next day. You can have leftovers and it's delicious. So it helps you save money in the end. Hands-free cooking is also lovely. So obviously, if you're having like chopped vegetables or, maybe you have to cut up some of the meat beforehand or what have you. There could be a little bit of prep, but it's not a lot. And a lot of times you can even get chopped onions or the chopped vegetables, like chopped peppers, minced garlic, all of that stuff already done for you, and you just have to throw it in. So it's wonderful for people who don't enjoy cooking and spending time in the kitchen. It's great for people, with chronic pain, chronic fatigue, other autoimmune conditions, because you're just throwing everything in there and letting the crock pot do its work. You're not having to stand over a stove. Your house is going to smell amazing as well. So I don't know, like I would love to hear if you are a slow cooker fan or even like an instant pot fan or yeah, just, what are one of your favorite things that this appliance provides for you that you have less stress about, or that you just love about it? And for me, I absolutely, one of the biggest things I love is the aromas that fill the house. You guys, it smells so good. It gets you excited for your dinner. It brings that cozy feel to the house, especially if, during these colder months. It's almost like the version of baked cookies or bread in the oven. Um, Sorry, I have something like in my mouth. Today is just kind of a mess, huh? No, just kidding. It's not a mess. I just like to keep you on your toes. Um, but it brings this amazing aroma. And then, if you're out of the house all day, like you set everything in there, you get it cooking, then you are gone for maybe several hours, you get home and you walk in, you open the door and it just hits you. That smell hits you. And sometimes you can smell it coming in from the garage or even outside of your place. And it's wonderful. I love it. It just brings that like that cozy feel. It brings that excitement for the meal itself. And these delicious smells can trigger positive emotions as well. So it, brings that happiness. It brings that excitement, that joy, that good energy. It gets your mouth watering, and it's a home cooked meal with nutrients that's waiting for you. So beautiful. It also, provides a versatile cooking method too. So you can make anything in the crock pot, from like hearty soups and stews. You can make quinoa dishes or rice dishes. You can make vegetable medleys. You can make breakfasts with them, desserts. You can even make different beverages with them too. There's so much that you can do, which is so wonderful. And also, they're incredibly easy to clean because basically it is a one pot meal, which makes that cleaning up a lot easier. You just have to worry about maybe putting leftovers away from it and then cleaning the pot, and you're done for the night. So, yay, not a lot of work to do at the end of the day. And also, this gradual cooking that the slow cooker has enhances the flavors. So, food is prepared in a crock pot. It ends up simmering, for several hours. So that allows the flavors, the spices, the seasonings in the recipe to really soak up and blend well. And your end result for your meal is going to be much more flavorful. You're going to have your taste buds just satisfied, but you're also going to have that warmth and comfort too, like I've mentioned. A lot of times when it comes to crock pot meals, they tend to be healthier too. So cooking your meals at a lower temperature over a longer period, it helps save the nutritional value of foods. So high heat temps oftentimes break down and destroy the nutrients in foods just because, it is that high temperature. So it really breaks the different chemicals in the foods, different structures in the foods, and kind of kills those nutrients. So when you have that slower time at those lower temperatures, it can help keep those nutrients more stable and, help with keeping those nutrients intact. It doesn't just kind of like fry them or destabilize them. So it helps preserve those nutrients. And that is going to then provide your body with the nutrients that it needs too. So the low and slow method also helps reduce any release of toxic chemicals that can happen at high temperature cooking as well. So, an example, there's specific toxin that's often produced and absorbed by the body with high heat cooking. So that's called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. And we absorb these toxins when we're consuming those fried, broiled, grilled meats, cheeses, and other foods that are of animal origin. So AGEs, or AGEs, increase the risk of diabetes, kidney and vascular diseases, inflammation, which with us dealing with fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue and autoimmune conditions, we want to lower the inflammation in our body. I mean, everyone in general, we want to lower inflammation in the body. But especially us, we get triggered so easily. So it's so important to reduce the inflammation as much as we can. And the slow cooker is one way of doing so. Alzheimer's disease can also have that increased risk, insulin resistance, and even more too. So when we're utilizing the crock pot, it helps provide us with less exposure to these AGEs and different toxins that can develop during high heat cooking. So knowing all of these benefits, and maybe you're not one to use a crock pot too often, or you don't realize there are so many different things that I can do with it, I don't even know where to get started. There is a basic formula for the crock pot. So you can add your seasoned meat or protein of your choice. You can either brown that meat beforehand or maybe marinate that meat beforehand. Up to you. We usually do brown our meat because we want to make sure it's well cooked and, cooked at the right temperatures and things are good. Then you add in plenty of vegetables of your choosing, and you want to cut them about the same size so that it has that even cooking. You then pour in a sauce or a broth to help cover those ingredients, and then cook on low heat for 6 to 8 hours, or you can do the higher heat for 3 to 4 hours. And then once you're done cooking, you can, stir in some of those fresh herbs and spice and various seasonings. You can throw in some canned beans if you want. Whatever sounds good for you, but you're going to amp up those nutrients even more. So, if you are trying to look for a recipe or come up with new recipe ideas, there are different tips for selecting recipes. So there are thousands of crockpot recipes out there, but when you're looking for a recipe, you want to make sure you choose one that includes plenty of fresh whole food ingredients. So we don't want to be using a whole bunch of canned items. I mean, obviously do what you can. We want to be getting in enough vegetables and those whole foods, like I mentioned, and reducing, the sugar and the processed foods as much as we can. You want to opt for recipes that require simple, real ingredients that you can easily find at your, local grocery store, or maybe what you have on hand that you need to use up at home. And then consider the cook time when choosing a recipe. So some crock pot recipes can take 8 hours or more to cook. And sometimes that's not doable or practical if you have a certain time period that you need dinner on the table. So if you need less than 8 hours, then you want to make sure you're not finding a recipe that's like at the end, hey, you cook it for 8 hours. And you're like, that's not what I wanted. So just make sure you're planning ahead. It does require some planning ahead, which will also save you stress. If you are using dried beans, a super economical and nutritious base for meals, wonderful. But you may need to soak them overnight first before placing them in the crock pot with vegetables. So a lot of times that soaking will help break down those beans and make them ready for your meal. And then they're not going to be tough for the meal. But it also helps with like sprouting them. It breaks down the anti-nutrients. So then your body can absorb those other beneficial nutrients. It'll be less harmful to your gut lining, just easier to digest, which is always a bonus for our bodies, especially during the winter months. So some of my favorite recipes, like we use the crock pot so much in our house. We do a lot with even just like bulk proteins where we will put a roast in that maybe we have different recipes the rest of the day, or 3 to 4 days of the week, but we're using that roast, so that protein, we're not having to cook another protein every night. We use that in the base of our other recipes. So I do a lot with the bulk meat and proteins, and we use a crock pot every week, and all year long. So it's not just a winter thing for us. But some other, like, we love, chili and smelling that and just watching it bubble. That is one of our favorites. Various stews that are using like potatoes or sweet potatoes in them. That's another great use that we love for it. You can make slow cooker chicken carnitas. You can make a slow cooker herbed turkey breast or herbed chicken. You can make Cuban style black beans. You can cook short ribs in it. You can make split pea soup, especially after holidays. If you have, a ham, you can use that leftover ham and create a split pea soup. You can make goulash. You can even make desserts like chocolate lava cake, or baked apples you can use. You can make breakfast like apple cinnamon oats, or a frittata, throw some kale, roasted red pepper, and feta in there. You can, make meatballs in there, or homemade applesauce, or a slow cooker apple butter, or cinnamon and honey nuts. Like, there are so many things. You can even make spiced hot apple cider or cranberry sauce in there. There's a lot of different things that you can make. And, I've mentioned quinoa as well. You can cook quinoa, you can cook rice dishes in there. It's basically whatever you are looking for. And again, you can create bulk meals that then you can use throughout the week too. So it helps with saving money. It brings that delicious aroma, warms the heart and soul, and provides you with nutrition. So at minimal work and effort. And that is absolutely, absolutely wonderful. So I would love to hear, what are some of your favorite crockpot recipes, even instant pot recipes as well. I love to hear. We can share them, bring ideas for one another, try new things in the crock pot that you hadn't even thought about, and realize that we can lower our stress through allowing, like, our new best friend in the kitchen to do its work. It's like having your own chef, partial chef, I would say. I mean, you still do a little bit of work, right? but you have something else doing that work for you so that you can have that stress load reduced. But with that being said, that's all that I have for you today on utilizing the crock pot. It is a very good friend for people with chronic pain, like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, and autoimmune conditions, and anyone with a busy lifestyle too. Um, but yes, that's what I have for you today. Again, if you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to reach out or put them in the comments below. And for those of you watching, please share your lovely recipes and ideas that you utilize in the crock pot. I can't wait to talk to you guys again next week. And you guys take care, stay warm, enjoy the beginnings of November. All right, until next time, we'll see ya.